And we're live. What's up, everybody out there listening to the podcast? It's number 64. Today, on the 14th of August, we watched the latest episode of Castle Rock on Hulu, which was episode 5. The next two episodes of Twin Peaks The Return, episode 5 and 6. Sharp Objects on HBO, episode 3 through 5. The new theatrical releases The Meg and Slender Man. Did you get everything watched this week, Luke?
That and very much more.
Now tell me, what else did you get done?
I also watched Black Klansman, Eighth Grade, and The Spy Who Dumped Me.
I'll be damned. You got everything in that you really wanted to. Now, I don't want to really talk about Black Klansman because I'm hoping to see that if it comes around anywhere close. Also, 8th grade, but I doubt it, so I think you're probably alright to talk about that. As well as.
Yeah, I mean, usually like Black Klansman, I really want you to see. Like, we like not even to talk about it. I think you need to see it. Eighth Grade is fine, but it was slightly ruined for me by a man who thought it was the funniest thing ever in the theater. He was like literally kicking the seat in front of him, dying laughing. And
For the Bo Burnham movie, right?
yeah, and like it's got some funny parts, but like, uh, so like for a lot of it, she is creating these YouTube videos in her spare time, and it's all like bullshit lies. Like, this is how you get friends and be confident, and she really doesn't do that, but it's her making the videos. But she ends every video with like, she's like, okay, like and subscribe, Gucci, and every time she said it, he fucking died laughing. So there's like 4 or 5 times that you know that's how it ends, and he just like it killed him every time.
That's pretty amazing, actually. I watched them like give advice to Collider, like some video, and they ended it with Gucci, and I was like, well, that's an odd way of ending shit, and now that makes so much more sense.
Yeah, it's kids slang apparently, but yeah, he thought it was super funny. Um, but but most of the time, like throughout the movie, I was just like hiding my face in my hands, cringing because it's so uncomfortable. I mean, it's meant to be, but yeah, it's worth watching. And then the less said about the spy who dumped me, the better, because that movie's a big pile of shit.
Oh, really? I've heard mixed things. I've heard that it's really funny and everybody needs to see it, and then I've seen others like I don't know why I saw that movie.
Like I said, I literally saw it just because I had time before the movie I actually wanted to see. But oh man, it was
I
rough.
like that now that you have like a Moviepass equivalent. You're just so excited to see all the movies you can.
I'm always excited to see all the movies I can, but if I didn't see it for free, I would have just sat home for like 2 hours twiddling my thumbs. Instead, I was like, I'll make this work. I'll go see this, and it was a mistake. I should have stayed at home.
Speaking of the great and wondrous Moviepass, that motherfucking card, I swear to Christ. I was so excited today because I was like, oh, I can go see Slender Man because, I mean, my card will cover it and I don't have to worry about it. And got to the theater and nope, I can only see Rogue Nation, which I saw 2 weeks ago, but they wouldn't let me. And I was like, you motherfuckers.
Really, because I saw this weekend that they're limiting it to like 2 movies a week, and it's completely random based on when you go and what movies you'll be able to see. But most people were saying it was Slender Man and and Fallout that they were able to see this weekend.
I'm so fed up with it. Like, even, I was almost like, you sent me a message last night about Slenderman, and I was like, oh, I think that kind of lets me off the hook, so maybe I don't have to see it, and maybe I don't have to waste the day today, but I saw it. We've seen it. It's been done.
But yeah, they're limiting the movies that you can see. Excuse me. Apparently, they were promoting Slender Man because there's some part they partnered with each other. There's some promotional aspect to it. Uh, but then I'm seeing this thing all over today. Reports of people who cancel their subscriptions, but they're immediately being uncanceled and put back in, and then it won't let them cancel after that. Like,
Which wouldn't surprise me with how difficult it is to get signed up for. It's even harder to get canceled. I remember I was trying to sign up for the year month last December, and like they charged me monthly for December, and I was like, hey, I'm trying to sign up for that deal, and like a week later they're like, oh, okay, we'll get you signed up, and then charged me twice for it. So then I had to fight them for another couple weeks to get one of those charges removed. It's just such a fucking hassle. So it doesn't surprise me in the least. I'm sure there's part of the user agreement that like, if you don't like these changes and you try to cancel, we're just going to sign you back up and charge you because we want to.
well, like the ones I was seeing, there are people who like canceled a week or two ago, and then they opened their email because they got another email and it said they'd been signed back up.
What a fun game. That's about all I can call it. What a fucking mess.
All I can say is I'm just happy to watch this train wreck go. Like I had all the problems trying to sign up. I tried to sign up like 6 times and it would never let me. It just would just not take my information. So now I get to sit back and watch all you fuckers try and deal with it.
I love it because it's a sweet Moviepass card that I can't even use because I've already seen the movies that I wanted to, or it's just not available. What a fucking mess! Like I used it to see the Meg the other day. Surprisingly, it worked, and like the lady at the theater was so surprised because like just nobody's been able to use the Moviepass card for like the last 2 weeks.
It's beautiful.
What a fucking mess! So, was there any other news stories that you might have wanted to talk to about this week?
I feel there was a bunch, but I didn't pay attention to any of them. So
Yeah, I think the Moviepass one was the one we were gonna hit on.
I remember. Apparently talks have fallen out for Star Trek 4, and both Chris Hemsworth and Pine walked away.
Did they just full on walk?
Yeah, that was the report on Friday night, was that they walked away over money disputes. So, I mean, it's up to Paramount now to try and get them back. But
Huh. That's wild. Um, yeah, not surprising. I mean, they made 3 quote unquote blockbusters. I'm sure they were signed up for 3 and then um, time to renegotiate, and I'm sure they're fucking way bigger stars when they started, so makes sense.
yeah, but it's like, you can't make that movie without Pine. Like,
Oh yeah, for sure.
you must shutter it down, you know?
Also, looking back through our messages, I saw the chick from Sicario de Salado is going to be in the new Dora the Explorer movie. And what the hell is that?
I don't know. I just like the idea that they're promoting a children's film based on Dora the Explorer with the word Sicario in there. Like,
I didn't even catch that part, but that's fantastic. I hope everybody is like, hey, it's that chick that's gonna be in Dora the Explorer when Sicario hits the movie or DVDs, and it's like, we should watch this because she's in it. And I was like, yeah, you should. And scar your fucking face.
yeah,
Get shot in the cheek, bitch.
kids.
Get shot in the cheek, bitch. So I think that's it for news then. Um, let's talk about some Castle Rock.
Yeah, you want to talk about Castle Rock? How much did you love it? 'Cause I know you
I
love this
really did.
show.
Are you still iffy on it?
This is probably my favorite episode of The Batch, but
Fuck
I don't
yeah,
know.
it
It's
is.
still I still don't think it's like great, but it's more interesting to me now than where we were 2 or 3 episodes ago.
Agreeable. I think as far as Hulu and Netflix are concerned, like them and Prime, I think this episode really showed what these series are capable of. Like, I don't think we've really seen that much with the Netflix and the Prime originals. I know we definitely haven't seen it with Hulu because Hulu just mainly streams cable TV. But
I don't know if you're forgetting about the fantastic season of The Runaways that we got.
yeah, I was actually trying to erase that from my memory, so I never have to think about it again.
Boom, December 21st, season 2 start. Do this.
You've got to be fucking kidding me! Is it like the 24th, the second season of Gifted?
Oh, I don't know. I could fucking hope so.
That's not that's not realistic. No, neither one of us wants to watch those second seasons, but something tells me we're
One, I'll give it this. They said they're dropping all 13 episodes at once. So
okay.
it's not going to be week to week like it was last year.
Okay, that's a little bit more reasonable. Um, as far as Gifted season 2, I'm definitely like Polaris is the only thing I'm looking forward to, and even that it's pretty iffy.
I don't know. Maybe something cool will happen. You never know. You
Yeah,
never know.
maybe
Maybe they'll bring back.
maybe something. Yeah, considering they're gonna have to reboot the whole fucking world, that none of this matters anymore. So fuck it all.
Let it burn.
Let it burn. Let's burn it all. But okay, back to Castle Rock. Yeah, I think this was the best episode by far, just because like he actually got out of prison, and you see the destruction that he reaps behind him. Um, the reason he was chained up and everything, like it was super interesting. Tying to other Stephen King literature and whatnot, even more. But yeah, just a handful of fucked up shit happened. Namely, the kid's birthday party.
Yeah, that was fucking weird. I wasn't ready for that.
100%. I was waiting for him to act on things like he was the distraction, but nope, it's just fucking it follows him around, and it's like fuck you.
Yeah, I do think it's weird though that excuse me, um, that they use Pangborn as the crutch of like the time, the past, the future. Now that Locke's dead, but
Yep.
he immediately is distrustful of this kid because you haven't he says you haven't aged a day in 25 years, but they show that flashback and they don't show just Skarsgård in the trunk. They have to. It's a really weird case of Tell not showing when you know like I don't quite get why they just didn't show or if he's lying or what's going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. Something tells me they're gonna show that scene later down the road. Um, that seems to be what they've been doing. Like they tease a scene and then show the full thing later when you get a little bit more information. Um, his mom or no, when fucking Pegborn like looked into his camera on his phone and saw that dude, it's like shit is gonna go down. So yeah, yeah, I'm loving it. Super excited to see where this goes on, especially considering I figured he wasn't going to get out of prison for like another 2-3 episodes. So it's like I think the next 2 episodes are definitely going to be even better than this one. Hopefully.
Yeah, it's weird that they set up this whole thing of like prison hiding him and trying to deny it, setting up the possible lawsuit, and then there's like, oh, we're just gonna let him go. Sorry guys, he's free now. Like it seems, like they spent 4 episodes setting up this way the story is gonna go, and then there's like, no, he's just out. We're not gonna do any of that stuff. Sorry.
Not our fucking problem anymore. It's just everyone's. So, fucking cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really about it for what?
Yeah. I was gonna say I think it'll be interesting to see exactly what he is and what's going on and stuff. Because like in the scene where he's out with Jackie, and then he gets up on the roof, and the other girl comes to get him down, and you hear what he's hearing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like it's past and present. He's hearing stuff from the past, so it's not like is it a psychic connection or what's going on?
Yeah, I love that. I love that. How it was described, like Jackie showing off what she does, like hears and sees, like a couple episodes back, and then seeing that like antenna style, like she can hear what's going on in people's head. Like that was super interesting to see that now, like because it's not necessarily that he's crazy, like he's burdened with all this shit, I suppose. So
Yeah, but you still get that little thing at the end where he's manipulative. He's talking to Pangborn about how he can cure his, uh, Sissy Spacek's dementia, and he can help. He's the devil offering a deal. The monkey paw. It's probably not going to be what he wants, but
yeah,
he's intrigued. So we'll see.
fucking A.
We shall see. Did it? Is this 10 episodes or what? I
I
never
want to say
followed
it's
it.
8. Let me double check real quick. I'm pretty sure it's 8. Or maybe I'm thinking Sharp Objects.
Really? Sharp Objects is 8, I think, because there's only 2 episodes left.
Yeah, 10 episodes.
10 episodes, okay.
So you got
So
5 to
yeah,
go.
for like halfway down.
That's crazy. Just seeing the titles of the things like this week's Filter, the next one's The Queen, and then you have Past Perfect and Henry Deaver for episode 9, and then 10 is Romans. So I'm excited now. Hell yeah! If you're not watching, get fucking caught up. Watch it.
Hey.
It's dope. So what'd you think of Twin Peaks? You still there?
Yeah, you still there?
Oh, hold on. Yeah, there you go. So what'd you think of Twin Peaks?
No, we're going to Twin Peaks.
Do you want to do Sharp Objects before?
Yeah, let's do that real quick,
Okay,
just because this was your catch-up week.
that's fine. Yeah, what'd you think of Sharp Objects? I guess you kind of
Well,
talked about it a little bit last week, but
yeah, I did. This was me just telling you to catch up, a little mid-season catch-up. I like it. What do you think
I'm fucking in love with this show. I think the visual storytelling is so intriguing. How they're doing things, like for episode 3, you have this really cool scene where um, she's in the halfway house, I guess you'd call it, the psych ward maybe. Um, but then her parents come to visit, and you get the scene of where it's the father checking in, and then there's like roses scattered along the floor. And then the next scene they show in the timeline is the dad walking up with the bouquet of roses, and then it cuts back to the beginning where the mom is throwing him on the ground, and like I don't understand what the hell's going on and all this shit. Um, the whole it's getting even more intense as it goes along, which is crazy. Um, it's really an unwavering look at the life of addiction and like self harm and shit. Like what 13 Reasons does for high schoolers, I would say, like high schoolers, middle schoolers, this is kind of the adult version of all that. And it's kind of freaky considering knowing people that are definitely like that.
Yeah, sure. I'm just so in love with like the thing kind of you're talking about, like the visual storytelling and the way that the show is actually put together in terms of editing and the way you flow in between. You just it's the way the human brain works. Like
Yeah,
how you flash back to stuff quickly because something else reminds you of it, and the way they're doing that in the editing is sort of brilliant, I think.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and, and I feel like I really don't mind that the whole like murder mystery is taking a back seat because the show just lives on this mood and this southern hospitality that's really masking this like untenable hostility within each of them. It's just so fascinating to watch, I think, that I really don't care who murdered these two girls.
Yeah, yeah, it's got this whole ambiance to it that's like, uh, it's a really passive aggressiveness to it that like sucks you in, and you kind of forget about the story because you're so intrigued by all these characters that are all over the place. Like, there's no characters that are similar. Like, they're all pretty much opposites of somebody else, and it's just a wild goose chase of trying to figure out what's going on, like behind the scenes.
That said, do you have any guesses on who is to blame for the deaths of these children?
I'm kind of leaning towards the Adora's husband.
Haha, me too. Yeah.
They showed him like in a couple weird. I really think it's a red herring, but like they've shown him in a very unscrupulous scenes. Like he's messing
There's
with his stereo one time, and then he like comes into Adora's room. I think after she's passed out on like sleeping medication and whatnot, and like it's clear that they're in a loveless marriage for the most part, and like I'm sure dealing with somebody like Adora is just more than taxing. I'm sure she's the one that has the money in the situation. That like, why not just be along for the ride? I suppose at that point. But yeah.
yeah, there's that. I'm going along with it because of there's all that talk of like uh it's a man and these violent crimes against women. He's taking this rage out on these girls, and you realize like when you watch him in those scenes, he's so passive and he's in the background. And he's just at the whims of Adora. That is like him lashing out to get his masculinity back. Um,
Yeah.
that's why I'm leaning that way, but it could be red herring. Again, I don't know.
That makes
I've avoided
that
all
makes a ton more
spoilers
sense.
in the book.
I mean, you see all the power Adora wields, like getting the one kid fired, like and like the sheriff coming up and discussing her two daughters. Like, it's really strange because I always thought that the her husband was Amy Adams' father, but it seems to not be that case. I
No,
think we'll get to see who that is in the next couple episodes, I'm sure. Um,
we'll see.
I'm interested to see who her boss is. Like, it kind of feels like he's a father figure to her. Like, it seems like something happened in their past that he took her under his wing, and like she knows that this is cathartic for her. Um, Getting all this like sorted out. Um, yeah, it's crazy though. The
Yeah.
heartless remarks from Adora, like the second
Oh,
when she was like,
my god.
she fucking
Uh,
gets real close and
where
is
he's like,
like,
I never loved you.
"You smell ripe," and I was like, "What the fuck do you mean by that? What the fuck is that?" And then the end of 5, like before the hotel scene, she's like, "Oh, it's obviously your father part in you that makes me not love you." It's like, that's fucking cold ass shit. Which almost makes me think Adora could be the one that has been doing these killings.
What's crazy is like I could make an argument probably for anyone in that house. Like I could also see it being Amma, the younger daughter who
Yeah.
fucking killed her uncle friend too. Almost in like a bratty, like I can make people do whatever I want. So maybe I got some fucking druggy guys to hang out with to kill the two friends I didn't like anymore. And, like there's plenty of ways you can watch it and catch. But again, like I said, the show's not. I don't think it's super interested in that. It's more the story of the town, the way it goes there, and Amy Adams, like how her character reacts to everything, and
Yeah.
in terms of coming back, like what it's doing to her mental health.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we said, the storytelling's so tight, and you compare this to Panic at the whatever picnic, or Picnic at the Hanging Tree. Yeah, that's the one. And like that storytelling was so flowy, and like you could kind of see what was kind of happening, and you kind of just were along for the ride. But this is kind of like there's right hand corners at every 5 minutes. But like these episodes feel like they're so long just because it packs so much into every episode. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
like they spent, they took a whole episode out to do, a Southern Confederate pride party, and just the inner workings of the town all in one spot and how they flowed in between each other and doing all these different things. It's just so great. That said, how did you feel about the end of the last episode, which is what I was bringing to last time?
I didn't. I thought it was very well done. I thought it was with what they showed prior, and like she's so marked up from all this harm, and like she's just cut all these words into her skin and whatnot. Like it's clear that she doesn't want to be undressed. So I think him knowing that, and like basically after having to uh, warm himself up and then and then go into it, like makes so much sense. Like it's kind of off-putting to talk about it out of context, but I think in context works so perfectly because I mean you see her just get tore down from her mother from the speech like right beforehand. She's just looking for to escape reality basically, and she knows where to go find that. So it's crazy. I think it's gonna turn out that
Yeah.
the last girl that was murdered, I think her brother that's so close to her, I think is gonna turn out to be gay. I think that's why they were so close because she knew his secret and like just didn't tell anybody, but like they were that made them closer, and then like it's been so rough on him, and especially being in the South, like where the Confederacy was such a big deal, like it seems like that would not be the ideal situation for him, considering he came from Pennsylvania though. So yeah,
Yeah, and they were transplants, so it's interesting. We'll see. There was last night, or what, 2 nights ago they had the episode, and then there's 2 more to go. So we'll touch back on in 3 weeks, I guess, and
yep. We'll do
after
6 through 8 at the end, and then kind of recap and see what worked, if anything didn't work. But everything so far has been so interesting because they're laying the past and the present so well that like it shows you why choices have been made, why there are things that intrigues her even though she grew up knowing this, and like showing off all these old places to someone with new eyes and trying to get like a fix on how everything is turning out. Like the show's super interesting to me.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you.
Uh,
Um, and I'm not gonna say anything. I've watched Sunday night's episode already, so
I
I only have to watch
fucking
two
hate it.
more.
Um,
But like barring some weird nosedive in these last two episodes, like I think it's gonna end strong, and it's gonna be a really good show all the way
nice.
through.
Nice. Yeah, I think like this is obviously the strongest murder mystery we've seen so far. Like Absentia, Hanging Rock, a few more, but like this is so well done. I think this and Terror have been the strongest things we've watched so far, um, for the TV series anyway. And I really like.
Yeah,
I highly recommend this one just because be, like even the self harm and alcoholic sides to it take a back seat to these wonderful like character introspections. So yeah, I'm loving it.
yeah, yeah. It's so good.
So let's go from there. What now?
No, nothing. I was waiting for you to make the transition.
All right, yeah. Let's. What'd you think of the return, episode 5 and 6?
I love Twin Peaks. It's one of my favorite things ever.
All
But
right, let
like,
me stop you
I
right
don't know.
there. So yeah, no, I'm right there with you too. Like it what's so confusing is I know I was talking about this last week and how it's hard to wrap your mind around it with everything happening, but like I think you talking me off that cliff last week helped sort a lot of it with these next two episodes. Like everything is very linear and easy to read. That like when things start clashing into each other, like that's where things get tipsy topsy. And like I'm excited to see where this pans into. I'm loving just following Coop and his doppelganger around though.
Yeah. So like before you cut me off, my thing was gonna be that I love Twin Peaks. It's brilliant. I love everything about it. I'm just not sure I really like the Food Splashers episodes. They were kind of slow. Um, and I think I finally realized, like within in terms of this new season, the return, it's not quite Twin Peaks as we knew it in the past two seasons. Like it seems like David Lynch is using a couple of the characters from them to tell this other story that he wants to tell, and occasionally he's gonna pop in somebody from season one that we love to kind of make us think like kind of Twin Peaks. But I mean, there's so much of the show that doesn't even take place in Twin Peaks anymore. You
Yeah.
know, it's so much of first we had Kublak in the Black Lodge, now he's out and he's in fucking I don't even know Nevada or somewhere where the fuck he is, and then the FBI and his doppelganger are in South Dakota, and it's all kind of disparate, and I trust that these things will come together in some way, somehow. But these episodes left me a little cold.
It's fair. It's fair. Um, yeah, I don't know. I just really enjoyed it. Like the following Dougie around and like I'm trying to get a sense of how his mind's operating. Like we're kind of getting glimpses of it. Like I think something's leading him along, to try and wake him up, like the one-armed man was trying to wake him up. But like, yeah, it's so drastically different than what I was expecting for sure. Um, I
I
mean,
think in terms of like the Dougie stuff, like I think I'm fascinated by it. It's like it's borderline heartbreaking because when you watch him, you see Cooper trying to come out. You see our special agent. He's obsessed with the badge and the statue with the gun, and he's able to make these correlations to what I'm assuming is insurance fraud. The way I took it, and like all those stacks he went through was like it was the same investigator and the same policies. Like he found the insurance fraud scheme
yeah,
within it, and he kind of, or like his love of coffee. You see these things that are activating him, and he's lost almost all the time until certain things like just kick in, and it's almost like Cooper's fighting to come back out, but he's just so broken right now.
Yeah. To speak to that, like, it is definitely heartbreaking to see. Like, you see all these references like come up for him before like he actually notices them. It's like, okay, this is gonna be the one. This is gonna trip him back, and we're gonna be back in old Coop, and we're gonna be fucking solving some mystery and shit. Throwing rocks in the fucking woods, trying to figure out where everything is. And like, nope, just not happening. So it'll be interesting if he does unlock himself or what's going on. Like, it just feels good to be back, I guess.
It does. That said, fucking, I wouldn't have expected it to be fucking Diane, who they're going to look to try and fucking help solve this case. So
Yeah.
I'm excited by that.
Was Michael Cera this one?
No, Michael Cera was like 2 episodes ago.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, some random shit, man.
This episode's special guest celebrity star was the girl from Mamma Mia, Amanda Seyfried, showed up as oh god, Bobby's girlfriend, daughter. I can't remember her name.
That being said, I'm really excited to see what the fuck the chief found. I want to say Hawk, but I don't think that's his name. Is it?
Yeah, that's Hawk.
I love it. I love it because they're trying to solve these random ass mysteries, and like it feels like the mysteries themselves are like holding them by the hand, like dragging them along. To the point where Andy points out that like your heritage. Did you see an Indian? And I don't think that made a correlation to him. And then he just started seeing Indians that followed him along until he ripped up half the bathroom finding Indians. So I'm intrigued to see what the hell that was.
Yeah. There's that. There's whatever the fuck doppelganger Cooper's doing in prison. Mm-hmm. Apparently he's like controlling the electrical systems and shit and calling people.
The weirdest shit was it's weird all the off to the side stuff that's happening, like when the kid gets hit, following an old man. Like, I'm sure this is all gonna tie in later, but like it's just weird and out of place for the time being.
Well, there's a slight correlation. The old man was played by Harry Dean Stanton, who ran the trailer park in Fire Walk with Me that FBI agent Philip Jeffries, played by David Bowie, disappeared from, that Cooper went to start finding him. And now he's running another trailer park outside of Twin Peaks now. So it's the same character. What the correlation is, besides that David Lynch wanted to use him again, I don't know. But
that's crazy. I'm glad you remember all the shit.
And then you got fucking, it's Ben Horn's kid is fucking just as bad as his dad, and he's running kids over with a car.
Oh, that's who that fucking is. See, I couldn't tell who it was, but I just knew he was bad trouble when driving a fucking Trans Am.
There's the thing. I don't know if they've explicitly stated it in the show, but in the credits he's listed as Ben Horn's son. Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah, I think that's it for Twin Peaks then.
Yeah, I guess get ready. We're doing the next 2 episodes again, and everything I hear is that episode 8 is the fucking crazy episode. So.
Nice. Looking forward to it. So we'll be watching that next week. Let's go with the Meg first.
Oh yeah, we're gonna go with Meg. You know what? There was so many times that Jason Statham could have punched that fucking shark and he didn't, and that upsets me.
How did you feel about the whole Meg?
It's fun once it gets going, but it takes too long to get there with all this bullshit fake science stuff. That I don't know if they're trying to give itself credibility or what. There was too much time on there's a secret layer underneath and we got to go pass through it. And that's why all this stuff living in this hidden world. So
Yeah.
once we finally get to like the team assembled and fighting, then I'm into it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I dug it. It was just a random action the movie. It definitely wasn't as good as Jaws, but it had moments where it seems like they were reaching for that. Um, Obviously, big shark attacks, like the craziness kept building on itself and getting even crazier. Like we caught the one megalodon. Oh, there's two fucking megalodons. Um, the whole end of the movie where like he tore the one open and like and then all the sharks came from everywhere to fucking feed on it, like that just seemed too weird for me. Like I don't think in any reality that would ever happen.
That was just too weird. That was too weird. That's the part where like he has like a piece of shrapnel in the shark and he's riding it 50 feet into the air before stabbing it in the eye.
Yeah.
That wasn't it. It was when the sharks all ate it at the end.
Well, I
I
mean,
gotcha.
when you okay, hold on. When you kill a shark, it gives off pheromones to warn other sharks, so they know that there's danger there.
But that shark, not a 2 million-year-old megalodon.
I
These are
know, I
different
know.
species.
It's just too weird. It was just too weird, like knowing that, like it doesn't seem like there would be just a fucking swarm of sharks to tear up the body. I don't know. That one just stood out to me.
Whatever. But that said, literally, there's parts where like the megalodon's like caught on a fucking chain and he's like an inch away from face and chomping. And why
Yeah.
doesn't he just punch him in the face? Just give me the one time to see him just go.
That being said, I liked the movie. It was fun enough. I think it had troubles establishing what kind of movie it wanted to be at the beginning. Like you said, once it got going, it finally got going. But like, I think they could have done a little bit better with the rescue mission or the trying to kill it thing. But like, it felt like two different movies smashed together. But it was alright.
Sure.
Liked it.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's okay. It's a big shark.
I'm
But
sure. I'm
that
sure
said,
if you
like,
wanted to see it, you've already seen it. So
yeah. It's weird though that like a movie that's predicated on a giant shark that they didn't lock that CGI down a little better because it was real dodgy at times.
yeah, there were definitely like some very Sharknado esque scenes that like this is a little too much. Um, yeah, I liked it. I liked Rainn Wilson's character, the billionaire philanthropist that just wanted to kill the damn thing. So wild.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I said, it takes a while to get going. It's boring, like those first like 40 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's watchable. It's just a very well cast sci-fi shark movie, is what
Yeah,
it is.
yeah. But yeah, go see it if that sounds intriguing to you. I don't think I really have anything else on it.
We'll put it this way: like, if you're on the fence about watching it, know that there's literally a part where they're like, "We need to track that shark," but it's shown an unnatural aggression towards boats, so you got to get in the water and swim up to it.
And then it comes up and flips the boat, so everybody's in the water. So that makes sense. Um, Wild, wild. So how much did you enjoy the Slender Man?
Let's start with: were you scared by it? Because you're the one who's like, Slender Man is scary.
It had its moments.
Oh, you're so fucking dumb. Oh my god, I hate you. This
No, no,
movie is
no. I
such a
mean,
pile of trash. I
there
hate
were. Hold on,
no,
fucking chill out. There were moments like where it was building the tension, but like when they showed him, I think the scariest scene of them showing him was in the library, and it kind of reminded me of Pennywise scene. where he's just fucking the kid's running from him and he can't get away. Other than that, Slender Man, when they showed actual Slender Man, like that shit wasn't scary, but like they did a good job of building the tension and whatnot. I feel like there wasn't much difference between this and the Ritual. Besides,
What?
well, hang
What?
on a
Are
second,
you
just
no?
relax. Besides the end of the Ritual, where everything came together and like he escapes, and like all of that pans out so much better than this movie did.
This movie's bad. Let's start there.
I
It's
mean, it's
just
definitely
really
not
bad.
good.
Um, and the fact you're like, let me compare it to this other really good movie. Let's start there. You're getting me hot. You're doing this on purpose. Get me worked up.
You don't know that.
Um, one here. We'll start with the biggest problem. Fucking light your movie with the shit. It's so dark you can't see anything for 90% of the movie. There's literally parts where like, what part is it? Oh, it's when she's home babysitting her younger sister, and they hear something in the house, and it turns out to be like the dad of the missing kid who showed up looking for her.
Yeah.
But there's that part where like she walks downstairs and stands in front of like this big bay window, and it does like the jump scare noise, and she screams and runs away. I didn't see anything. I was like, "What happened? What's
I
going
didn't
on here?"
either. I was hoping that you saw something, but I definitely didn't see a goddamn thing.
No.
Yeah, a lot of
So
that movie was unlit.
it's horribly underlit.
Yeah.
It's like when movies go out and they shoot day for night and they use filters and color correction to make it look like it's darker, but they're really filming during the day. I think they wanted to do that, but they actually went out at night and just color corrected it. Um, there's literally parts where like the chronology doesn't make any sense. Like they're on a school field trip, and then you see clouds passing through the fucking moon, and it cuts back to the field trip again still during the day. Like it just jumps around day for night. And two, it's just really bad. Like, okay, the most there's two ways that you could do this film that explores the interesting parts of Slenderman.
Yeah.
One is the interesting part is like the way the internet propagated this and kept adding to it, and it became its own modern mythology very quickly is
Yeah.
interesting. You could have done like a fucking like Charlie Kaufman-esque meta thing where like they have to go find fucking Victor Surge who created this character online and learn shit about him. And, you can make it kind of meta contextual, and
Yeah.
that make it more interesting than a group of fucking teenagers in 2018 who don't know what Slender Man is. They're literally sitting around like, what? Slender Man, what's that? Oh, I don't know. We better do an internet search. Oh, fuck off. That's what Slender Man is. You can't play both way movies.
Yeah.
The second interesting way, which obviously I get why they were, for lack of a better word, why they pussied out from doing any of that after the girls killed that or tried to kill that girl in Michigan, is the idea of broken people and people with mental illness and how they can't separate fact and fiction on the internet and how they relate to this and adapt to this and how it affects them that way. You could tell there was this subplot that must have been mainly cut from the movie about the girl on the internet who's telling them about the rituals and stuff, who's really in a mental institution.
Yeah.
And, like there's pieces there, but they hide and get out. And in the end, this is all just a bunch of spooky dreams. People have spooky dreams about a guy with no face, and ooh, scary. And then the movie's over. It's real dumb and it's not scary.
Nuh-uh. They made that girl. This is basically the sequel to Trolls 2, where the witch makes people into trees.
Yeah, that's so fucking dumb.
That was the moment when she got sucked to the tree and was made into a tree. I was like, well, that's not very scary at all. That's not scary even a little bit. It's like, god damn it. Like, I see 20 different ways that they could have played out this movie so much better than the way they did. Like, they didn't ever give them an out. Like, it was just always something coming for them. Like, they needed to give a reason for these characters to want to make it stop, but like they're like, oh, we're so fucked, and fuck this, and fuck you, and fuck everything. Like,
Well, you would think, except for the very boring main girl. Obviously, I'm seeing all these visions of Slender Man, but fuck you, I'm gonna say I'm not. I'm gonna go make out with my boyfriend. That's more
I was
important. And
also
then,
waiting for like the friend to like turn, like be possessed and like turn on her friends, and then when she fucking comes into her other friend's room and sees the fucking wallpaper of fucking Slenderman pictures, it's like, oh, you're obviously fucking insane. But like,
but
none
like
of that panned out.
literally, like there was probably 3 or 4 times I almost just walked out of this movie. It was so bad. But the one that almost broke me was when she's like making out with her boyfriend, and then she opens her eyes and he's all like frozen and doing like a demon scream thing. So like, oh my god, that's so dumb. Um, but I think the problem with it is the idea of Slender Man, and like I said, the way it's been propagated by the internet and the forum culture and how everyone just keeps adding to it and adding to it. There's no definitive, mythology
Yeah.
to what they're doing in the movie. It ends up just being like, we watched the video and now he's spoopy hunting us, and oh no, now it's over. Like there's no,
Yeah, and like,
you can't
even with the
say.
ring, when you fucked yourself by watching the one video, it still gave you an out. Like, there's a way to stop this from happening, and like, they just never had that. So it was just oh, we're fucked. So, um, there's there's slivers of good ideas. Um, like the hospital scene was creepy enough. Like, I don't know. It's just I was so disappointed that I wasn't scared by this movie. And some of that might be the fact that you've made me watch these goddamn horror movies and stuff that now I go in there and fucking don't worry about it so much. But like, I think it's genuinely like it was just a terrible movie. But to say more about that, like the mythology of Slenderman and whatever, like the games. You don't have any knowledge of the games, do you?
I know you walk around in the dark and you gotta find 8 pages,
Mm-hmm.
and he teleports after you, and it goes static if you look at him. That's all I
Yep.
got.
Yep. I think it would have been interesting to play it out that way. Like the more information you collect on him to figure out what it was, like that helps you lose this sanity. But obviously, they were just collecting pictures of people that. So like that was the hardest part for me. Is like
Yeah, and they
when
do
they
that.
had 1,000 drawings and none of them were like. As an artist, there's some similarities between drawings, but like these were very, very obvious that they were all drawn by different people. That like it just made it weird because it's like, well, did they find him? Did they stumble upon him? Were they possessed by 100 different people that drew all these? It's like it was just disappointing.
And then they had this stupid denouement at the end where the sister's giving this voiceover about how like people search out the Slender Man and that gives them power and all this stupid horseshit that none of the movie itself doesn't even try to justify or talk about. So it's an interesting. You don't like horror movies, so you haven't seen it. There's this idea. There's um, um, folklore, mythological beings known as tulpas, and they're ostensibly, um, made from the consciousness of people. And the more that you investigate it and believe in it and hear about it, it propagates itself and gives it more power.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
it's
we saw that realized in American Gods when we watched that. Like, I'm not saying I'm not a horror fan. I'm not a. I'm not gonna search out horror movies if I can help it because I have this avid imagination that does bring the shit to reality to me. But like, this wasn't that. Like, this was just a bad movie.
It is. But that said, I'm gonna have to go search around on the streaming sites to see if they have it. You need to watch Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Like that's our homework. Is we need to find it and you need to watch it because there are little hints and things that you take from the mythology of Slender Man and what they're trying to say that is done so much to better effect within a fucking Freddy Krueger movie
Nice.
that it'll shock you.
Well, that sounds terrifying. Fucking A.
Nah, you're good.
I like that. No, you definitely know it's gonna fuck me up, but you're fine with it. That's fine. It's whatever. So, yeah, that's what we got on Slenderman. I'd avoid that one. Meg, I'm sure you've
Yeah.
seen it if you wanted to. So, what are we watching for next week then?
So next week's interesting batch. Obviously, we'll keep up with Castle Rock and Twin Peaks.
Mm-hmm.
Theatrically, the only one I know that's a solid lock is Miles 22 because
Mm-hmm.
I know I will see that because of the dude's trade. What do you think? Do you want us to watch Crazy Rich Asians?
You bet your ass I do.
Okay, so we'll throw that on.
Okay.
What do you think about
About what?
Alpha?
I want to see it. I don't know if it's coming anywhere around.
Okay, we'll leave that one in the air. We'll do Mile 22 and Crazy Rich Asians then.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that works. And I think Crazy Asians is tomorrow.
Yeah, it opens tomorrow.
So we might get Alpha here. If we do get Alpha here, I'll tell you to throw it on the list. But for the most part, I think that's about it then.
Yeah, and then I got to go do a search and see if New Nightmares are streaming and take to watch that.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. So watch all that stuff and join us next week. Next week will be Monday, right?
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, you take care of yourself, everyone out there, and we'll see you back for Twin Peaks next week.
Yay, Twin Peaks.
Peace.